Welcome to another episode of Open World with me, Lali, Ale, and Meli. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about when video games meet history and real life. Which, come on, I think we have a lot to discuss in here. And
absolutely.
Yeah, we are like so angered to tackle this episode because it's so good. Yeah, it's like you have history, you have real life, then something happens in between, and you have
and you
boom.
have a joystick in your hand.
Oh my god, and you're playing so good. I believe we have played like a lot of these games throughout our lives. Ali, do you wanna tackle the first game you encountered, or the first game that shocked you, and you were like, oh my god, this is history, this is real life?
Well, before I became a video game nerd, I was a nerd in history. I used to love history.
This episode is for you.
Yes, I sucked at math. Like other subject, I sucked at physical education, of course. But history, I loved it. So back in the PlayStation 3 era, Assassin's Creed was incredible for me. I mean, since the very first one with the Third Crusade and the historical characters that you got to interact with. God, should I go? Okay. So in the first one you have the Third Crusade, right? Incredible, groundbreaking. And did you guys know that was supposed to be a Prince of Persia game? And
I didn't know that. Oh my god.
Yeah, okay.
Amazing.
Out of topic, but then with the second one and 3 entries all through Italy, then you
and you have, I'm sorry, I have to step in here.
Yes,
but
you're
meeting Leonardo da
Vinci,
like in game, and being able to talk to Leonardo da Vinci, it's like, oh my god.
In the third one, you went to America. You even met Benjamin Franklin, and then with more recent video games. I mean, you could be a pirate. You could interact with people of Cleopatra. In Origins.
Oh my god.
Odyssey. You were a Greek war. It's like, and the fact that it evolved so much that even universities took parts of what Ubisoft created, like in Odyssey.
Like the amount of research that is done for like
you have guided tours in universities where you can even engage in activities that in different times you could engage as well, even bread making.
Yeah. As
they used to. So that's the first one for me.
I
did so much.
What happened with Notre Dame in Paris that didn't they use the Assassin's Creed?
Yes.
Unity. Well,
like
Unity is my favorite. I left it out on purpose because otherwise I'm not gonna shut up ever. But I mean, they took what Ubisoft did for Notre Dame to recreate it after the fire, after the accident. And it was created several years before it happened, so you can see how well
and we're talking about a video game. It's not like, I don't know.
And a game that was in a setting so crucial as the French Revolution.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's
that city
so
was
powerful.
Alive.
Yeah, so powerful, and if you.
Maybe you.
Maybe you.
Yeah.
Well, I think I had to talk about Age of Empires.
Oh my god, another huge one.
I think, probably everyone watching this played it. Like, my younger brother was like a fan. Even when I told him we were doing this episode, he was like, oh my god, everything. It's like we're talking about Age of
This is my moment. You're like, this is my jam.
Exactly.
Can I be a guest, please?
Can I join you guys?
Yeah, what I really like about it is like, of course, you have to choose the different age, like if you're in the Dark Age or in the Imperial Age, and you choose like the
civilization.
And if you're going through history, like you have to manage all the different resources, and that's like more or less accurate. I'm not going to say 100% accurate because I did some research about it, and let's say, took some liberties. It's not like, it's a game. It's the main purpose is like to be
it's a fictional part.
It's a fictional part. Yeah, but I think that's the most amazing thing ever, because you have real facts, real history mixed with fiction. I think, and of course, we're not talking about all the cheats that you can use on Age of Empires.
If we're talking about historical accuracy and you're like driving around in the car.
Shelby Colbrad were invented a bit later.
Exactly, but I don't know. I remember playing the Joan of Arc campaign, and that being so impactful on me, because I was like, I'm learning history through a video game. And I think that has like a
the William Wallace.
That's what one I was going to mention, because also the William Wallace was like that. How the story ends is like, of course, very different from the real world, but it's part of like let's imagine like this scenario which it actually happened. What could have happened if he stayed the leader of that? So I think that's also really nice to when you have a historical setting and you start playing a little bit with history and like a little like fantasy.
Absolutely.
And then you also have like the age of mythology. Of course, that one has
even more liberties.
Exactly.
Even more liberties.
That's more about like fantasy. You have gods and powers.
But you're talking about here systems of belief that were in that
they were
period.
Part of
actual time.
So in a way, you're also like learning about how Greek, like ancient Greece, like
absolutely. I think it's
interestingly enough, on the first season we had Kate Edwards as a guest.
I remember.
She worked in the culturalization of Age of Empires. By the way, if you're watching this, Kate, we miss you.
Hi, Kate.
Hi.
and if you haven't watched that episode, you should.
You should. It's so good.
She was consulted about the representation of maps, because in some territories, in some countries, they don't see eye to eye in how maps looked in a certain time, like that's boundaries or things that actually happened. This river wasn't, I don't know, I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna say whatever, it wasn't Japanese, it was Korean. So all of these things, all of those elements were taken into account in different markets.
Wow, that is
it's amazing the level of detail, the level of accuracy sometimes a video game might have, right? For me, my historical favorite game, because I'm more of like, I like detective games. I'm a huge fan
of
Japan.
The past too much.
And you went to way into the past. So I'm going to bring you back a little bit to sadly our more present history, let's say, with Eleanor, because Eleanor shows a post-World War II Los Angeles. And you are a detective, and it's so well portrayed, because I know all the cases and everything is fictional, absolutely. But driving those cars back in the day, oh my God, through those streets of LA, I'm talking, and you can see the chills, because it's so good.
You know that I've never played that game.
Oh my God, you have to. The radio. Everything is so well put together that it makes you feel like you are there in that part of history.
It's an open world game, right?
Yeah, it's an open world from Rockstar, and you can expect Rockstar games. Just it can blow your mind, actually. So I keep talking about it, and I keep getting the shimmy showers.
How does the game develop? What can you tell us about
It is a detective game. You can actually go around as an open world. You have to find the clues and everything. So all of that part is actually the fictional part, right? But the most amazing time is like the setting of it all, because some games, as we've been speaking right now, some games have this fictional fantasy on a real life setting, which I think it's amazing. And for example, I'm also a huge fan of Fallout series, and I believe the Fallout series plays with some part of our history, right? What happened? What could have happened if the atomic bomb would have hit the United States of America, right? So we have like this society working towards getting back together. We have the vaults, we have everything that's happening. One of my favorite games is Fallout New Vegas. You are in Las Vegas. You are in the casinos. You are there. You are in the Mojave. You are there experiencing everything.
But under different circumstances.
Yeah, under different. Yeah, so it's just like
parallel reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like Wolfenstein. I mean.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein imagines a world if the Nazis would have won the Second World War. So it's like, but even that game, like in Germany, they cannot depict that.
No, I think nowadays they can. But when the first game came,
the first one, right? It was
so there were some laws that were against showing some figures and showing some symbols and stuff that it was that they were banned. They were banned because you could not talk about it. But nowadays, I think the laws are being a little bit more open, being more a little bit towards clarity, towards the history, you know,
making peace to what happened and move forward.
Absolutely. Historically, I believe we have always looked at movies and literature to see a glimpse of the past, right? Video games, which exploded into a scene in the 70s, as we've spoken in the previous episodes, have received far less attention from teachers and academics. However, recently, as gaming has grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry, some historians have begun to see the value of video games as legitimate sources for historical engagement. And this is what I would love to bring to the table, because I know sometimes we talk a little bit about our history through a video game, real-time history, like for example with Far Cry 6. But we also can go to the oriental side with Ghost of Tsushima. And I think it's so amazing because you can create a character, you can create a story that might not be real, but just the fact that you are establishing it on a setting that actually happened on time.
And you get to like live it in a way, because of course, you know, when you're reading history and or you're watching a movie and you get to understand a little bit more how it was, but in video games you get to actually like interact. And if there's like people from different, you know, cultures, they're speaking different, and I don't know, it's just like you understand it a lot better, like, and because these recent games, like, they are so well done, like the amount of research they have to create them, and then, you know, it's just, you know, they're looking for that like accuracy more, so that you get that like immersive experience, that historical experience.
Oh my god,
I don't know if you guys knew this, I just found out recently, and I'm not gonna tell the news properly because I don't really remember which school, but in Poland, I believe, they're gonna take the game This War of Mine.
Oh my god,
Did
what
you
a great
heard about
game.
That? They're gonna take the game and making, I don't know if they're gonna teach the, I heard this, that they are gonna add the game to the school's curriculums.
Wow.
I'm probably butchering the news, but you get the idea of the importance of that game. They're gonna introduce that into the school's curriculums so that kids can learn from the game. And it's a survival game among a war setting. So video games are very, very important when it comes to actually understanding how history
like
works.
Education and
I mean, sometimes we see things happening in history and nowadays life, sadly. But I believe with video games and the possibility of being able to play it and being able to put yourself in those shoes. I think, for example, Call of Duty portraying World War II. I know World War II was so big, as the same as World War I. So it's just like those huge wars that happened and destroyed us all, because they were awful, making a game to learn from our mistakes, to see like, to empathize, you know, to be like, yes.
Yeah. Not be just a bullet shower of a game
Absolutely.
in a setting that actually happened.
Absolutely.
Making it more real.
Exactly. In a way that you kind of, I mean, that's also why we love history. It's just like, you know,
when you get to experience it through a joystick,
see a bigger picture of like how we hear, like, you know, everything that happens nowadays has an explanation.
Yes,
you know?
I would love to hear your opinion between these topics, because we're talking about reality, history, and fiction. So what do you think about that? Do you think, sadly, of course, we are talking about video games that happened on a real life setting, that, yeah, they destroy you, absolutely, because I can tell that you might be end up crying in some sort of video game, just like, no.
Many times.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, but what do you think about this reality meets history meets a video game thing that's happening? Because I believe every game, I'm giving my opinion now, it's just like, I believe every game has a real life setting. Because somehow you can find something relatable in one way or another to a situation that you might have seen, or something that's happening to you, or just like, I believe that's the greatest things about video games.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is incorporated in a way. Of course, there are games that are, you know, they are like history, it's a big part of the game, and there are others which is, you know, just some aspects of real life are taken in the game. But I just really enjoy it when they are using just so, you know, accurate like history facts and setting and characters, and you get to, you know, interact. It's just great for all ages. I mean, sometimes it can be educational for kids, but also, you know, it's things that we know, but it's very different when you're playing a game than just.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching this episode back to back with the previous one that we did without a guest, actually, we've come a long way from what video games truly show, right? From Pac-Man to, I don't know, The Last of Us 2. It's decades of content and of what's happening. But also, on that note, we've come so far that video games are not just to sit, play, entertain yourself, and then move on. You can learn from them. You can experience things that happen to you, or that you wouldn't have experienced if it wasn't for through a video game as well. That's so valid, and that's so valuable for people nowadays to have that chance that I don't think that many people had in the past, you know?
Yeah, and I have to say massive shout out to all these games that we have been talking about, because they have nailed some historical facts to the point. And I also want to bring this to the table, because I know with culturalization specifically, you can go super well or super wrong. So that's also a little bit of the research that you have to do if you're making a game set on something that is a fact.
And get it right.
Get it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it could be a massive crash, and you don't want that.
It can be either a historical thing, as we're saying, I don't know, Age of Empires, Assassin's Creed, or whatever civilization that might no longer exist. But even like, I don't know, in games that are set in a certain city or country nowadays. Right?
Yeah, I mean, for example, the game that I recently played, being Far Cry 6, I knew that
I was thinking about Far Cry 6. Yeah.
We have some people from Ubisoft saying that we are talking here about Cuba, right?
Yeah, it's a representation of Cuba.
Yeah, so it's just like we have all the history, all this background, but we have fictional characters. So it's just like the feeling of sitting into a car and turning on the radio and just hearing the Latin American radio that you hear at home, at least it's for me. And
I've had Vicentico
Oh my
on
God,
a radio
yeah,
in
it's-
Far Cry 6 playing, and I was like, what? That's priceless.
Yeah, I mean, and it's priceless. I imagine the experiences, right? Because we are from Latin America, right? But imagine someone that doesn't even know where are we located in the world, right? That experience of being like, oh my God.
I am really in a different place right now.
I am really in a tip because the thing with Far Cry 6 and Cuba, it's like they have nailed the island that is frozen time. It's devastating. It's so
seems
sad.
like it's in the 50s.
Yeah, but it's a fact. It is true. And we've talked with Eduardo Weissman. Huge shout out, and yeah, he has.
We love you.
Yeah, it was amazing having the opportunity to actually meet him, and he telling us, yes, we have taken some inspirations from all of these historical facts in Latin America in general. Because we are not only talking about Cuba, we are talking about Latin American history in general.
Yeah.
Dictatorships in Latin America, and also they respected a lot. If I don't know, a character was, I don't know, with a certain identity, you know, they looked for a talent with that same background to actually portray the individual that was in the video game.
That is so amazing.
So the amount of detail and care that it was brought to that game. I mean, if you haven't played Far Cry 6, if you haven't played any Far Cry, start with the 6.
It's the best
All of them
one.
are good, but the 6 is like the best one yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
As of yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. But yeah, somehow we managed to nail this history throughout video games in a not so boring way, I hope.
If you are into history, then
If you're into history and into video games, I think that if you haven't played any of the games that we talked, or if you haven't played even one, they are all worth a shot. I mean, for Age of Empires, you don't need any PC, any toaster can run.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and having the opportunity to learn something while playing, I think it's the most valuable thing ever. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget that you can find our Discord server down below, and please leave a comment. We will be reading. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you next time.